Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this video. And in this video, guys, we're gonna learn how to use arrays inside our C program. So basically, guys, we can declare variables to hold single element or single value inside our C program. So for example, like this, age or int age, and then we could assign it to a value 5, for example, like this. So this particular variable will hold the value 5 or a single value 5, and then it's going to assign to the variable age. Now, what if we want to store like 50 series of values? Like there are 50 age that we want to save. For example, there are like 50 persons that we want to save the ages. Then this particular declaration and statement will not suffice because we're going to like declare it one by one. So for example, int age 2 and then 6 and then int age 3 equals 7 and int age 4 was like 10 and so on. So basically, guys, this is not a good programming practice to declare multiple variables or multiple variables to hold a single set or single type of data. So that's why we need the capability of an array. So basically, guys, the array is a data structure in C programming which can store a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same data type. So in this case, guys, we're just collecting and saving the same data type of data, which is int. Now, what we can do here is we can define an array, and then we could set the length. Say, for example, we want to save 50 ages, right? And then we could save the age into that particular array. So let me show you an example. So this is how you can create an array inside your C program. So basically, the first thing is you have to specify the type of your data that you want to save in that particular array, and then the array name. So basically, this is just like the variable name. So you have to label your container, and then of course you have to specify the type of data that you want to save in this particular array, and then you have to add the square brackets, and this signifies that this particular variable is an array. And then inside this particular square bracket, you can declare the size, or specify the size or how many values that this particular variable could hold. Okay, so in a typical C program, you could do it like this. So for example, the type is int, right? And then you could say ages or age, right? So this is the array name, and then this square brackets, and then you have to specify the size. So for example, 5. So you want to collect 5 values or 5 age of 5 persons. Okay. So again, this is the type int. You have to specify the type, and then you have to specify the array name, the variable name, and then of course square brackets, and then the size of your array, or basically the amount of values that this particular array could hold. So after this, you could say equals, and then you could specify the array or the elements of your array. So for example, we could take all these values 5, 6, 7, and 10. So 5, 6, 7, and 10. And so for example, because our array contains or should contain 5 elements, you could add another one here, for example, 8 or something. Okay, so again, this is how you can create an array of um, values. So int is the data type, and then of course we have the array name, and then square brackets with the size 5. For example, your array should be 5, and then equals, and then the curly braces, open and close curly braces, and then the actual element value. For example, in this particular statement, we have 5, 6, 7, 10, and 8. So that's how you can initialize an array in C program. Now, you can access this particular or this elements or these values by using what we call index. So in C programming or any other programming with arrays, you could access the values by using index. So this index is based, zero based. It means that it will start with 0. Okay, so meaning if you want to access the value 5, so you have to use 0 index. Okay, this will be 0, and then this will be 1, this will be 2, this will be 3, and this will be 4. So again, if you want to access or get the value of this particular element, you have to use the 0 value of your index, and then 1 for the 6, 2 for 7, 3 for 10, and 4 for 8. So let me show you that how that works. So for example, you want to display the value 6. Okay, so all you have to do is use the printf statement, and then double quotes, and then %d, the format specifier for our integer values, and then comma, of course, and then we could use the name of our um, uh, what do you call this, array, so ages, and then we could specify the square bracket, and then the index of the element that we want to use. So for example, 6. So we want to use the index 1 for that to be able to get the value of 6. So let's try this, build and run our program. So as you can see, the output is 6. As you can see here, 6, right? Now, if you want to get the value 10, you have to use the index 3 for that, because as I've said, the value is equivalent to the index 3 of our particular array. So build and run our program, and it should output the value 10, which sits on the index 3 of our array. So that's how you can access the value from our array. Now, so for example, you want to change the value of this array, right? So we have here 5, 6, 7, 8, or 5, 6, 7, 10, and 8. And then if you want to change the value of, so for example, this one, 5, the first element, all you have to do is specify the index also. So ages, and then the index which is 0, and then equals the value, for example, 11, semicolon, that semicolons only goes with the long. So ages, so for example, we want to display this, what will be the value of our index 0. So we could test that by using the printf statement, and then instead of 3, you could specify the value 0 or index 0 here. So let's try this, build and run. And as you can see here, instead of 5, the initial value of our uh, index 0, it returns 11 because we assign it, or we modify it by using the element or index 0 equal to the 11, which is that's why we are getting the 11 value here. Now this is particularly useful, guys, or if you want to work with the array, one of the best structure or the best statement that you could use to iterate the array is by using the for loops or loops inside our C program. So we could say this here, for example, for, so we're gonna use the for loop statement here, and we could specify, for example, int index equals to 0. We want to start with 0 because, as I've said, the index of our array is 0 base. It will start with the 0 number. Okay, so index equals 0, and then semicolon, and we're going to say here index less than the actual value of our array, or I mean size of our array. So 5, less than 5. So another semicolon, and then index plus plus. Okay. And inside the for loop, we could display the element of our array. So we could use this printf statement, and then we could use the index variable here, and then change this. We could say index equals %d, the format specifier, and then we could say equal to %d, and then of course the actual value of our array index. So in here we could specify the index. Okay, so it should display the index, current index, and then it should display the actual value of that particular index. So we could build and run our program. Let me add first the \n, or new line escape sequence, new line, and then it should display this particular output. So at index 0, we have the value 11. At index 1, we have the value 6, right? Index 0 is 11 because we already modified our array, specifying the array or index 0 should be equal to 11. And then at index 1 equal to 6 right here. Index 2 should be equal to 7. Index 3 is 10. Index 4 is 8. Okay, so that's how easy for us to access and change the value of our array, and that's how we can define our single dimension or one dimension array inside our C program. And in the next video, guys, we're gonna talk about two-dimensional and multi-dimensional arrays inside our C program. So I think that's all there is for it, guys, for this tutorial. If you have questions, please let me know in the comment section below. So again, guys, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.